Hello, Mouse Hunt. Welcome to Feedback Friday. I'm Dave. Hopefully everybody is doing well today. We have 31 hunters hanging out. How's everybody doing today? Hello. Laza. Hello, Brian, early in the chat there. Hello, Sri. Math. Today's session, as always, is going to be excitingly excelente. Whew. And the egg puns can begin. Hopefully everyone is getting a full serving of egg puns with the spring egg hunt and has been enjoying things so far. Hello, Jonathan. Afternoon. Michael. Hi, all. Hello to you as well, Michael. Good morning, Dave. Good morning to you as well, Lady Nutsy. Hello, morning, Nathan. Ronan. Ruff, hello back to you as well. Hopefully you're enjoying the spring egg hunt. Hopefully everybody's doing well. It's a bit of a chilly day here. We had a few snowflakes coming down, actually. We're kind of enjoying winter the sequel going on here. I don't know what's happening, but I'm not a huge fan. I'm ready for snow to be in the rearview mirror. Steven, hello and welcome. Blue Viper. Spegar, yay, earlier time. That's true. Daylight saving time has come into effect here. So depending on where you are in the world, this may have just changed what time we go live for you a little bit. So hopefully not throwing too many people for a loop. It's been nice having a little bit more daylight in the evening, I'll tell you that much. Math cracks you up. Excellent. Hopefully you enjoy Scrambles. That is full of just words of wisdom from Scrambles, the chick. Well, today, I figured there'd likely be some feedback and questions, comments we could explore about the spring egg hunt. Also wanted to touch on something we've been toying around with, just testing it out a little bit in our test environment is tweaking friend hunting a little bit as well. But before we kind of dive into that good stuff, I thought maybe it's time to spruce up an old art asset. So, I've been known to lurk on the Discord every once in a while, and it's been the butt of a joke a little bit for too long, I think, is this placeholder asset for Gouda string. So if you're a keen eye hunting in the Rift plane, and you have browsed Larry's Loot Lexicon, you've probably come across this miraculous cheese right here. Gouda string cheese is a placeholder asset. We wanted to make the item ever since the Rift came out so that we could kind of set things up so eventually when we do introduce Rift or string Gouda cheese, that it would all be set up. So you should be able to take it back to old Rift areas and see how it works and what have you. But I've gotten a little bit tired of hearing this be a butt of a joke, and I've got one of the old tablets here from the office, and I've been dabbling around a little bit with kind of illustration, and I think I can do better. This is pretty old now. I think it came out with, I guess, Narnia Rift was the very first Rift, I guess. So, I thought I'd take a little stab at making it a little nicer. So I bugged the art team here, actually it was a while ago, what they got set up here, and Jacob said he's been using Clips Studio for quite a bit. So let me see if I can boot that up. Matthew, think it's very epic Gouda cheesecake, eh? Let's string. Look, it's obviously Gouda string cheese. It's right there. Tribal Rift spoiler. That is kind of the plan eventually. When we get around to do a Tribal Isle Rift, that's when we're planning to introduce Gouda string cheese, because that's where you find it in sort of the non-Rift version of the game. But here, let me see if I can boot this up. So I thought I would take a stab here, and you can even see, here's for reference here, of what this looked like. Let's see if I can take a stab at making this a little bit better. Let me even get started a little bit. I'll take a cue out of an art Feedback Friday here. So we'll get rid of the string. I've been really attached to that, but I don't really think we need that. I mean, that is part of the original asset's charms, but that's probably why this has gotten made fun of so much. Let's pick a different brush here. I'm new to this here, so forgive me if I don't really know what I'm doing. Don't make fun of me too much, but, when you think of these string cheeses, right, they all have kind of tendrils coming off them, right? Kind of, kind of a morphed, fantastical version of string cheese. I'm sure many of you have enjoyed that in your lunch in your youth, even in my adult years. I don't mind having a little string cheese, right? So definitely want to make some tentacles here. But, make them look a little bit more fantastical than just, pulling string cheese. probably have to get to adding some mist or something like that. We're getting there, I think. So I'm going to switch up the colors a little bit. I mean, you want to keep kind of that orange kind of aspect, right? Like that, I don't know what you call it. Does anyone know what you call it in the cheese? Like that brine, like the waxy kind of wrapper. I mean, it's a little too earth tony, maybe. It's almost like it's flesh. I don't know, this one on the right, do you think that maybe it's turning out a little bit too much like a muscle arm of some sort, but I'm trying to get there. The rind. Thank you, Steven. Yeah, the rind. I think we want to kind of keep, you know, that reddy orange kind of rind. I don't know why. That's what I think of when I think of Gouda so much. Yeah. It's a little dark crimson. I'm horrible with colors, like everything. Even in other video games, I'll be like trying to, you know, put together an outfit for my character or something, right? Like dressing up a character. And I'm so bad at like coordinating colors sometimes, but. That cheese flex, Jack. I think we got to keep that for the flex. Steven, maybe it's wax? Yeah, maybe it is wax, rind. I feel like that's what the cheese comes wrapped in so that it is like preserved, you know? Keeps like it airtight. Because you age cheese and yet it doesn't go moldy, and I think that's why. Michael, you won't hold it against me? All right. I mean, I think I'm already better than putting the word string on top of the existing Gouda asset, right? Ronan asking if the Floating Islands Rift is coming out soon. That would be quite a long ways away. I don't even know if that'll make sense. We'll kind of see, you know, maybe I haven't finished the whole story, but it kind of, you know, the Rift started in the Living Garden, right? So I wonder if it'll have to come to an end before we get there. All right, let's see if we can make this a little bit nicer here. All right, yeah, I'm digging this. Oh, yeah, there we go. There we go. Now we're matching the cheese. That's more of a cheese color. That's what I think of Gouda. Yeah, this is turn. Okay, there we go. Oh, yeah. I just had to find, yeah, I had to just find the same color. Now we're working. Different, a little bit. A little bit more. Yeah, cool. Oh, let's see. How did I use this? I'll go over here. All right, I'll just make this a layer. Cool, so we can kind of blend this a little bit. All right, I'm gonna use a different brush. Yeah, okay, cool. Oh, what other, maybe work on the mist a little bit? What do you think? All right, like most of the other string cheese, maybe I should have grabbed some of that for reference as well, but, you know, most of it has kind of that mist. God, how am I going to do this? See, I got it on a layer so I can, because the mist has got to kind of weave in, but I got to get the right brush, I think. Yeah, okay. Ooh, yeah, all right. Yeah, they see a little bit of transparency, gives it like a little bit of mist vibe to it. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You know, I've been a little bit burnt out of the Rift storyline a little bit. You know, it's just haven't been feeling the creativity, but this might kind of reinvigorate the soul a little bit and get me ready to start working on it just a little bit more. All right, yeah, doing pretty well. Just give it a little bit of warmth, warm tones down here, you know. Make it a little happy swirl down in the corner there. And that'll be our little secret, that little swirl is right there. It's looking pretty good. Okay. Oh yeah, see, that like it jumps off the page. Look at that. It's like, you know. All right. Oh yeah. It's almost like three-dimensional. I'm pretty impressed actually. I think I'll probably, you know, I'll have to have the art team touch it up, I bet, but I don't know. I don't think it's going to need too much. A little bit more of the light mist maybe coming out. Yeah, and these swirls. You can just tell it's windy in the rift, right? It would kind of be making a lot of this going on. A little bit of depth. Yeah, okay, let's just see how this is working out. Oh, math, no 40. I don't think I can do 40. I would need Jacob's help for sure. Like, although when you think about the rift, especially the Valor rift, right? There's a lot of time travel going on. That could be the fourth dimension. All right, grab some kind of red, more of that Rhine color. I'm worried, you know, maybe it's looking like it's a little bit like the cheese has caught fire. The cheese is looking like it might have burst into flames just a little bit, but we'll just take the edge off that. Chris, it's looking too good now. I think it's starting to come together. The mist I'm impressed with. The mist turned out well. And I'll just move it over a little bit. Tighten it up. A little bit of flesh tone. That's going to take a long time to blend. And really shave that down nicely. Yeah, we're looking with some good cheesy. Yeah. I mean, I don't want to use too much history brush. That's for sure. Because if I get into the history brush, I'm going to be in way over my head. I still don't understand how that history brush works. That's all right. A little bit of texture. Lady Nutsy, having too much fun. It's nice to flex a different muscle every now and then. You know, I get tired of, you know, a lot of programming and document writing. It's less visual. I'm always, this is what inspired me to try and like pick up Clip Studio just a little bit. Is I've always been a little jealous and envious of how the artists can use visual aids. You know, they're putting together a little idea to share with the team, a pitch, and they can illustrate their idea. Picture's worth 1,000 words, whereas I type a paragraph. It's hard to get people to read a whole paragraph. Smooth that, yeah. All right, we're getting some pretty good depth on that one. Yeah, this tentacle's coming together, eh? Like the different colors, the gradient. Using that gradient is how I'm going to kind of get that to be a little three-dimensional. We just gotta, yeah. Oh, yeah. See, that helps. See, like, you can almost get a bit of a shadow going on that tentacle that's in the foreground now. That makes it look like it's in front of the other one. But see, they're blending together so nicely. One's going behind another. Not enough plant covering at least half the screen. I don't want to steal Jacob's thunder too much. I mean, this is turning out pretty well. Narrating. Yeah, it's important to narrate as you go, John. Like, you can see my thought process as this comes together. This has come such a long way in such a short amount of time, actually. I'm feeling pretty good. How's everybody else feeling about this so far? I really like how this tentacle kind of goes behind the other one. I think that's working out well. Jonathan, are you using a tablet? Yeah, I have, not the best one. I don't have the Wacom's that the artists do, so I have to look at my screen still. They have fancy ones where you draw, like, it's a Wacom tablet that you can look at, like, the screen you draw on the screen itself. I got one of the old beat-up ones from the office that's no longer used. I'm pretty sure it predates the Toronto office. It's been sitting in a drawer, but, with shifting to full remote, we moved out. And so, I don't know. Rather than sit in storage, I thought, well, I'll give it a try, right? Every once in a while, I gotta do something. Pixel art is a little bit more my speed, but I've been trying to get into this a bit more and use better software. Lady Nutsy looking good. Thank you very much, lady. Xavier, wait, drawing. You thought this was last week. Well, we're just going to spend a little bit of time. I've been the butt of the joke of Gouda string cheese having a placeholder asset for far too long. So I want to make it nice. All right, and we'll grab, okay, make this a little bigger. See, do some detail work. Yeah, that's looking pretty good though so far. I'll grab a different color. Get back, yeah, okay, yeah, a little bit of pink, magenta, kind of. Always like that. I'm gonna work on the mist. Yeah, give a little bit of an outline to the swirl cloud here. That's gonna give it some real pop. You know, it's gonna give it some of that texture, the depth. That's gonna make it look like it's not flat. It's coming to life. It's 3D. Beautiful. Yeah. What do we? Sweet. John, you know, Jacob doesn't talk this much during an intense drawing session. Well, I'm a pretty good multitasker. You know, like I said, I think because he's a much better artist than I am. So, you know, he can kind of pour his soul into a piece. Whereas, you know, I'm just doodling, basically. This is pretty, you know, sometimes it's easier as an amateur. All right, we'll do this swirl a little bit. Just gentle, strokes. You know, if you move the brush too fast, then you don't know what's going to happen. The whole program could crash. Yeah, some good swirls here, though. Pretty good. Such art, much artistry. Thank you, thank you. John, a different kind of artist. This is actually looking really good. I think we may have to work on the Tribal Isles rift here. All right, I'll grab a different color. Spegar, a con artist. I don't know what you're saying. I don't should. Yeah, a little bit of. Add a little bit of pink. There we go. I think I've come a long way in gradients. Just, you know, using different gradients and blending to kind of create some depth. Snowy, I'm late. Dave Art Time. Welcome, Snowy. Michael, you're heading out. Thanks for popping by. Hope you have a fantastic day. Okay. Christopher, wow, you're really good. Thank you. I've been working on it. Move this down a little bit. Yeah, I'm just gonna nudge it a little. You know, you gotta nudge the canvas. It's what all the good artists do. You need to nudge it. See, and see how it just crisps up. You shake it a bit. That kind of, you know, shakes out some of the flavor of the colors. So yep, there we go. Yeah, all right. It's good flavor color. And what else can we work on here? This is pretty good. Just look around, different color here. This is Ogburn purple. Ogburn purple here. It's an excellent color. And yeah, see, it's nice and dark, you know. And we're just going to draw a nice line or two here. Yep, and just complete the stick figure. Because this is good for scale of reference. So just so you know, you have your proportions right. It really helps with the lighting if you put a top hat on, because it's going to get too bright in the rift. It's going to get way too bright in the rift unless we have that top hat on. Okay, it was a technique. You know, the famous artist Toppy McTop Hatterson invented this technique of doing your lighting, and you know, it was an appropriate name. And he's laughing and he's chuckling. He's having a good time. It's like he's telling a joke. This guy's happy. He's laughing. He's telling a joke because, of course, it's April Fool's.
Wow, Dave, you've really picked up on my art lessons.
It's the magic of this stylus, Jacob. It's been imbued with your powers and your talent, and it's been wrapped in electrical tape. I don't think
it is impressive how you've been able to do this with such a marker.
It's a seldom known fact that if you use a dry erase marker wrapped in electrical tape, you just become better at art, you know? So I don't think we had too many people fooled for too long. I feel like at the start. Ruse. Yeah, at the start there, a few people thought I might have been drawing, but no, that was Jacob, and I think that became apparent as the quality went up dramatically as things came together.
I tried. I tried. I think you did a wonderful job commentating on not knowing what in the world I was doing.
All I know is the history brush must have been used multiple times. That's
Mostly history brush, yes,
yeah,
definitely.
mostly history brush. Cool, but hopefully we had you for a little bit there. And it was impressive just seeing that come together before my eyes. Actually, I was trying to hold back, like, you know what? I think we need Gouda string in the game because this is already starting to look pretty darn good. I like the direction of it.
I mean, now it's gotta, right? Like, that's just how it works.
Yeah, Tribal Isles Rift. We better start working on that ASAP.
Yeah, we got to figure out what this dude is doing here, though. I think that's got to be like core to the gameplay.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm just hiding out down there, and some miniature hunter trapped in the rift. Could that be Plank Run trapped in the rift and stuck on the back of a piece of cheese? I don't know.
Only time will tell.
But Lady Grant Dallas, you were entertained, glad. Jonathan, John, just tap and talk. Yep, just tap and talk with Dave. Norman was impressed. Nice to see you, Norm. Thanks for stopping in. Xavier, you got me good. Did we fool anybody? I think we may have fooled Xavier. Was it anybody else on the hook for just a little bit? Zang asks, can we replace the placeholder image now? I think already just what was created in the course of about 8 minutes was, for some reason, better than what I put together years ago. I don't understand.
No idea why. I gotta like make it true to its original form, though.
There we go. Ah, chef's kiss, c'est la vie. Perfect.
Added the string text back on. Yeah.
You should just embroider that in a little bit of cheese, like it gets branded in there. Just said, yeah, that was. The plant was done a fool. Yeah, the plant was drawing the whole time. You were so intense, Dave. Well, I have to match the intensity of Jacob's art.
I can't wait to do the coding stream.
Yeah, I have to schedule that up next. You'll be coding straight into production as well. So every time you save a file, it will upload into production, and that will be the code that's running, and there will be no pressure.
As is standard.
It's best practices, yeah. Theta asks, was the Master Mouse referenced in the Whisker Woods Rift notes the Total Eclipse Mouse or someone else we haven't met yet? I don't believe so.
Have not met.
Oh, the Rift. Oh, the Rift notes. You mean Plank Run's notes? No, I think that might have been referring to Feroma, but I could do a little tightening up. Plank Run's notes need some love. We can shift gears a little bit here as well and actually cover a feedback topic today. I know that being April 1st, but this is not an April Fool's joke. This is legitimately something we've been toying around with. I've been playing with it a bit in a test environment. We want to know, what do hunters think? What other ideas do you have? Is expanding how you hunt with friends to no longer be environment or location based, but have it be regional based. So if you're in the floating islands, that's in the Hollow Heights. If somebody's in the labyrinth, hey, that's also Hollow Heights. You can hunt together. Queso Canyon, the whole region will just sing so nicely. Even if I'm in the geyser, I can bring you on a hunt. If you're in the river, if you're in the plains, if you're in the quarry. Kind of what do hunters think about that? Are we on to something? Is it a horrible idea?
I like it.
Jason says can only be a plus. Swift says sounds good.
Yeah, I couldn't think of any like negative consequences for it. Can you?
No. If anything, even more ways to kind of hunt with other people. Obviously, there's a threshold where if it's everybody you know at all times, then it's no longer special. It becomes meaningless at that point.
Yeah, it's like it's nice when that happens during an event, but otherwise.
Tyler says, thank God, amazing quality of life. Lady Nutsy likes it. Crowd loves it. Brucey says, sweet. Owen, any consideration of hunting with your team for now, or are you saving that for tournaments where you work? This might be just the tip of the iceberg of other ways you could hunt together. Like, maps, there might be a use case there. Although, we don't want maps to become a thing. Like, even if I'm not doing a map, I join a map with 5 people, so I have 5 more people who can bring me on a hunt. But there's certainly lots of other little kind of use cases where you might want more people to bring you on hunts.
Yeah, I think as long as there's like some limitations, like the team size is one, uh, but yeah, like region is pretty broad in some cases, so I like that.
Yeah.
But it's not the whole global hunt.
Yeah, a few suggestions. Maybe your team could bring you on a hunt as well. Yeah, and like Jacob, like you said, it introduces a limitation, and that makes things interesting because you have to decide how you want to work within that limitation. It's usually the first step towards a little bit of strategy or having to make some decisions. Sounds good. Yeah, teams is okay based on ranks. Could be tough to implement. I think that's one of the objectives as well. I mean, obviously, the regions kind of group similar content together or similar rank content, with the exception of maybe Rodentia covers a lot of ground. But it's a way a higher level hunter could bring a lower level hunter on hunts. Maybe not Archduke bringing a novice on a hunt, but Hollow Heights spans Duke to Archduke. Yeah,
There's
Krause
also
says,
like a couple areas where it kind of like works that way already in a as a concept, like floating islands. There's tons of locations, technically speaking, inside of it that you all share hunts with, but like Veroma is, each floor you can't hunt between, so just kind of brings those together.
yeah, it kind of removes that restriction on our end when we're putting together an area. Sometimes, should it be one, like many phases within one location, or can we spread it out across many locations? And the downside, it gets harder to hunt with your friends. So that kind of helps remove that limitation for us, so we can kind of make it kind of whatever suits the narrative best. It'd be a lot to cram the geyser, the quarry, the plains, and the river all into one location where the HUD changes your state. It's easier to digest if, like, no, I physically move somewhere else and set up my camp at another location.
Do you think, as a consequence, we would purposefully make newer, different regions if we wanted to kind of like have more kind of broken apart, or would we continue to just kind of like add into existing ones at times and just kind of like, what do you think on that?
Yeah, kind of see what players think and kind of where we land. Because
Fair enough.
if we spread locations, because it would be nice. You have a friend who just started playing. They've been playing for a month or two, and it's just gonna be so long until you can hunt together. So, maybe this is the first step. In the chat, there's a few suggestions about maybe I make like my hunting party, or somehow I choose the group of these are the people I hunt with. And that sounds kind of interesting as well. It could be on top of this, like more ways of letting you choose who you hunt with and try to make it interesting.
Yeah, I guess as like a technical kind of test by making it region based, that could be maybe the future. Cool features like that sound really neat. But yeah, not my domain, obviously, but exciting. I mean, it could be though, with all the live coding I'll be doing. I'll be
Yeah.
I'll be implementing these changes, right?
Oh,
That's
absolutely.
the plan. Okay, awesome.
I'll send a task your way. I expect it
Cool.
done by the end of the day, and it'll go live at 5 p.m. on a Friday. That's usually the best time
Well,
to launch any
because
code.
I'll be coding it on stream as well, for all to see. You
Yeah,
know,
it is
I'll
interesting.
take in feedback from the audience too, and they can just add whatever features they want through me,
Yeah.
and we'll just progress.
If user ID, my user ID, gold equals infinite. Can we just put that in there? KDM says increase the friend limit while you're at it as well. Yeah, that might be worth a second pass. We'll see. We were a little nervous about how well it would perform and scale, kind of loading up that many people. So, but that has been a few years. I wonder if we could nudge it up a little bit. So that's something maybe we got to keep in the back of our minds. Jonathan says a way to disable friend hunts. A few hunters don't like them. Other times, a critical section you don't want to accidentally go on a hunt. Yeah, that's come up throughout the years as well. We always wonder, just how often does that come up? Is it where somebody's like, you want to make sure you're in the iceberg and you're like cycling your generals, which is already a little bit weird to begin with. Maybe there's a better way to get your generals, but you want to make sure, don't bring me on a hunt. I'm setting up something very precarious.
Yeah, no, I can actually imagine situations even in Sky Palace, where I've tried to kind of like limit, like switch out something just before I hunt, and if I'm not kind of like there right then, if I could turn that off, that would potentially save me. So that's an
Yeah.
interesting concept.
Yeah, and John, their suggestion to be able to kind of nominate who you want to bring on a hunt. Yeah, some sort of larger hunting party feature. You could see having a little bit more influence of who gets picked first. There is a limit of 8 people, so when you sound your horn, even if you have 1,000 friends, can't have 1,000 friends. If you have 100 friends in the same area as you, there's a maximum of only 8 can be brought on a hunt.
Actually, didn't know that was a limit there. Interesting.
Yeah, there's some little like minutia, little trivia that kind of needs to be documented somehow without it being overwhelming at the same time. But also, there needs to be some limitation. If you can bring 200 people on a hunt, it does take a little bit of time to send a friend on a hunt. So I mean, we could like pipe it or something, but you'd be waiting for a while for your horn would just be sounding. It's like, hold on, I'm making 200 people hunt. So you have to do it
Yeah,
asynchronously or something. It might be a challenge.
that's fair. And if it was too open, uh, there are some events where it's kind of like you load it up and like maybe you had the tab open earlier and you like click to sound the horn and it's like, oh, this was sounded like a minute ago, and like every time you go to do it, it's like, oh, it had already been sounded. So yeah, if it was too broad, that could be annoying almost, where it's just like you never get to sound your own horn.
Yeah, that's come up as well. Like, yeah, actually, there's a slight delay that we added for a long time ago for that exact feedback. I'm watching my timer hit 0 and I sound the horn. It's like a friend beat me to it. So I think it's like a 3 second delay of you
Oh,
have three
interesting.
seconds to sound your horn before you're technically eligible to be brought on a hunt. So a friend can
Clever.
bring you on a hunt every like 15 minutes and 3 seconds or 5 seconds, whatever it is. There's just a little window where you get to sound your horn first.
I like that. All this cool like tech detail.
Spegar says probably better just to have a way to only arm a certain number of cheese instead of the whole thing. That's come up a little bit as well. You know, you have 500 Gouda in your inventory, and you just want to arm like 7 pieces to get to the end of a hallway and know, hey, my bait like kind of disarms then.
Yeah, I personally would use a feature like that. I know that me and quite a few people will craft a specific amount so that it runs out at a specific time. So I can imagine a feature like that would enable that without having to be very specific in how many you craft.
Yeah, I end up doing the same. You know, make your aspect ratio a little better. Yeah, Jumbo likes the idea of being able to turn off friend hunts. Owen says Dave has an actual green screen. Jacob uses his plant as a green screen. His green screen's in front of him. This is just the color of my walls. Actually, I should probably utilize that better. But this room is green, and I'm actually kind of sick of my room being my home office being green. It's a creative color though. It's energizing. It's hit grab green. Jonathan says going on a friend hunt doesn't refresh your last active time, so you could go offline and you never get to sound it yourself. Another technical detail, the act of attempting to sound the horn, even if you're not successful, does refresh your online timer. So even if someone beats you to the horn, when you click it, it'll update. That said, there is a throttle where it only updates your actual last active date. I think every 5 minutes. So like every time you load a page isn't constantly doing it, but kind of enough, I guess. Generic Potato says, how about a small reward for taking someone on a hunt? There's the world's tiniest reward that is incredibly outdated. You do get bonus points.
Forgot about that.
It's from an era of the past when the point economy was maybe a little tighter.
There are a lot of like really interesting little nuanced details from days gone. Like I always love telling people about what the mouse weight used to be, and kind of
Yeah.
like that whole system and just how unfeasible it really ended up being. But it was a really neat kind of thing that we had in the history of the game.
The 79-pound leprechaun.
Yeah.
Yep. Every mouse had an individual identity in the database, and when it stole a piece of cheese, it became 1 ounce heavier. But keeping
A
track of what quickly became hundreds of thousands, then millions, and now over billions of mice have been caught. That's a
yeah,
lot of data.
very cool concept. Totally couldn't scale.
Yeah, we would need Google level infrastructure to possibly sustain that. We'd be like our hosting provider's best customer. Like, you guys need a lot of data storage, eh? Like, yeah, I know. Billions of mice. Reaper says, why is a mouse laughing, playing its kite stronger than a literal queen dragon made of thunder and lightning? That kite flyer is quick, let me tell you, all right? It's a slippery, elusive mouse.
The queen is just like much bigger, so easier target, really.
Nathan just asking, side note, are you aware of some map problems? Yeah, we've been collecting a little bit of info on that as well. Seems like something has cropped up, so we're kind of collecting a little info on that. By all means, if you kind of have reliable replication steps, it's beneficial. So if you've been affected, you can contact us. They're at the top of the game to log a bug, and we've been trying to collate information on it. Yeah, Jason, I like the ability to hide certain charms so I can cull my charms. Yeah, a little inventory organization. It's almost at the level of like an RPG bank now. You have so many items. It's almost like we can't organize it for you. Everyone's got to decide how to organize it. So it's a fair suggestion. The marketplace is my bait limiter. That's a very creative use. Says Bay there in the chat.
That is a lot of extra work, but it does do it. That's an interesting way to handle it.
Well, shall we shift over to trivia? What do you think, Jacob?
Ooh, I think that's a good idea.
All right, let me just make sure I have the answer covered or hidden. Where is trivia? Yes, I do. Beautiful. Today's trivia question, and to be fair, I don't know if I have the right answer to this, so there's a disclaimer under it. In light of that developer art that's in the game for string Gouda cheese, how many items are currently using developer art, at least as far as Dave can tell? So, I tried my best to audit that, but I don't know in any official capacity. And if you're paying close attention earlier during my beautiful illustration, aka Jacob's talents being used, you may have noticed the answer was below it the whole time. KDM with a guess of 2. Xavier. Looks like they're correct in the chat first. With the answer of 3.
As far as we can tell. There's probably definitely more, but I think most of the ones that would slip by are just kind of like maybe like a color tweak or something by Andrew. And yeah. The ones that we have discovered are quite wonderful, though.
I'll put this link in the chat as well for your claiming convenience. But this is, as far as I know, these were the only ones that came to mind for me. It was the Gouda string, null onyx, and the Rift circuit chips. I did the Gouda string. That's a placeholder. That's not even quite developer art. But Giorgio did the null onyx and the Rift circuit chips, if I'm not mistaken.
I think you're right.
If you zoom right in on those Rift circuit chips, you can actually see the heartbreak of the artists due to the shadows being cropped in nefarious ways that are just not acceptable.
It's painful to look at, but I also love it.
It's okay, Jacob. It's a Rift item. It's defying the laws of physics and lighting with those shadows. It's still casting the shadow of its like non-shattered form.
Its former self. Yeah, no, I will take that explanation and can never touch that art. It's perfect.
Xavier, yay, my very first trivia question. You won. Woo. Congratulations, Xavier. You've brought forth a Larry gift for the whole chat.
Woo, Xavier.
Crowd Monkey, Ghostly Galley and Gouda. No, I think that's legit. I don't think a developer put that together.
Oh, wait.
Maybe not. Jacob's looking.
I think that might have been like a color shifted one by a dev, because I don't remember kind of giving out kind of like that file to be edited to a different artist. So it could be. Hard to tell though, because it looks like it's just color shifted.
We need Giorgio's usually the one doing the dev art.
It
Keith
is.
asks,
Ooh.
who did the white mouse? I believe it is Jacob right underneath me here.
Yep.
Was that
The
the very
very
first?
first mouse.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was
very first one he did.
drawn with a pencil and like felt marker scanned in on like a, a 20-year-old scanner at way too high a resolution, and then shrunk down and just painted with barely a tablet at the time. So yeah,
You know, you couldn't
very
have
smooth.
such fancy tools as a stylus that's electrical tape, a dry erase marker, and electrical tape. Then it
Unfortunately,
would have,
not. Clearly, if I had that tool, I would have been able to do something much greater. But
basically a
it,
magic wand.
yeah, exactly.
And that mouse
It's
became
a
iconic.
classic, though. Yeah.
Can we have another fan-inspired mouse like the Hydra? You know, he's kind of
Ooh.
combing through, the Discord, or used to be more like the Facebook message boards, forums of people posting some inspiration.
Should do an art contest again. That's been far too long.
Yeah, that was fun. I believe, I don't remember all the details. I think we did kind of one for fun on the Facebook fan page. I want to say it was around the time of the Great Winter Hunt, but now I think I'm wrong. You're saying that out loud.
I remember doing one. I think the last one I ran, anyways, was a birthday, like maybe 2 years ago, though, or three. But yeah, no, definitely should do one again. It's been too long. Got some really good fan art as well that gets put into the Discord. People aren't a part of that. You should definitely join that community. It's awesome.
Yeah, Brian says the present mouse is wearing a Lunar New Year skin. We dug into that a little bit, and fair enough, we have other illustrations for the present mouse, so we could probably overhaul it. But there were some technical limitations of making that image swap, and I looked it up as 9 years ago. We kind of changed it. This is now the permanent look of the present mouse. That said, there are other illustrations, so if we dig all those up to like the birthday and we kind of complete the set, we could probably get it swapping images again.
Yeah, I did bring that up a while back, but yeah.
Yeah, if you can uncover all the originals. I don't think we have all like the birthday versions and stuff, so.
Yeah, that's the challenge, really. Like, I did see what they looked like from the legacy art in the wiki, because the people who manage that have been pretty good at maintaining. But yeah, the original birthday drawing for it is inferior in illustration. So I'm personally not like too heartbroken that it doesn't show that version. And the design on the wrapping paper is it can work for many occasions, I suppose. But yeah, we did have one for like Lunar New Year, obviously, the birthday, and Christmas as well. There was one with like a little gift tag from Larry.
Yeah,
gift tag on that, I believe.
I remember that one. Well, even the functionality that controls mouse costumes isn't all that great either. It's a little clunky. It kind of needs some TLC. It's hard to maintain it.
Might be more of one of those like 4.0 potentially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of needs some engine work, as they like to say. Crowd Monkey says MH Fan Creations for art on Discord. Is that a channel? I don't know if I perused it myself.
Yes, it's incredible. There's some really, really, really good stuff in there.
As incredible.
Definitely recommend looking through the whole thing. Lots of awesome stuff.
Jonathan, looking forward to seeing the new Fabled Forest area. It's coming along well. It's planned to be 3 different locations, which, hey, is kind of topical to this regional friend hunting. That was some of the inspiration, and thinking about how things like Queso Canyon turned out, being spread across many locations within one region. Thought it might be a pretty good fit. Even the spring egg hunt, right? You're kind of spread out a little bit more. If you're chasing down eggs, you'd be eligible for hunts with a few more people. I get a little lonely in the living garden. It'd be nice if people like if in the Warpath and stuff could also, bring me on a hunt. But yeah, Fabled Forest coming along together very well. Kind of wrapped up a major part of one of the areas, and kind of looking forward to starting up the next 2. We'll probably get more detail in future feedback Fridays and go into things like a little more of the theme and mechanics, even some power types involved and what have you.
plenty more mice to draw as well.
Yeah, has that been your go-to art stream?
We did one last week, the first mouse on stream for the area. Uh, had a lot of fun with that. But yeah, basically we got a nice roster that we're going to be exploring for a little while. So looking forward to that.
Brian's remembering the Omni Trap April 1st. I wonder if we could find that asset again. We probably have to dig through all the old news posts.
Yeah, I did see it. Giorgio shared it during one of our chats a while back, and we were discussing like how much more impossible it would be to look at with all the extra traps that exist now.
I think your
Because like a
CPU.
lot of them have like mist and stuff in the background too, and that just slapped on top of everything. It would just be like this gray haze.
It might just be like solid gray now. It's just no. Sorry, every pixel has been covered. I think
Yep.
your CPU fan would turn on trying to layer all the traps in the game now, with there being hundreds. It's like I'm
Be
out
a
of
big
RAM.
pile.
Yeah, and last year I put together the fun retro video game art. Right,
Oh, that was so good. Yeah, yeah.
there's Larry's
Larry's
VR years ago.
love that one. We've had some pretty fun April Fool's jokes. One of my favorite was just a silly one that I think Georgia and I whipped up. He or someone showed me that there's this feature where you can like have a browser view like in 3D, and it like shows each of the kind of like overlays and buttons and text and images all pop out in this like weird 3D view. So I got a shot of that, and then did like the like Larry wearing VR goggles and just like no something in virtual reality coming soon.
Yeah, I think there's a feature of Firefox to like see the layers
Oh
on
yeah,
a
yeah,
web page again. If you're sorting out like Z-index problems.
yep, exactly that. Yeah,
Jason, figure I have 2 months left in the floating islands, so you should be ready in time for it. Best of luck. I finished one of my traps recently,
nice.
and then I had to get back to living garden. That's where I live. That's my home. Uh,
I still got a ways to go. So many jewels to get. I was like thinking of starting a palace map, and I'm like, oh man, like with the eggs going on right now, I'm basically using up my fuel at the moment, and I'm like, I don't know if I can commit to doing that map right now. So
well, you know, the
it's
richest eggs I
tempting.
think have some storm cells just to add a little
Yeah,
sustainability during the egg hunt.
exactly. It's like if I can find like the right people to do it with, I think it's like definitely a good option. But yeah, right now I'm like, oh, I have to decide right now because I'm like about to spend the last kind of run before kind of having to you know restock. But yeah, there's so many options in that area. I love it.
Crowd's asking about item 292. I don't think there is an item 292, which has me curious. I wonder what the story would have been there. Yeah, there is no 2 item 92. Why can't I bring this back now?
Mousehut needs more NPCs. I agree. Um, that's something that like is a personal goal and kind of team goal, I would imagine. But to kind of like bring more of that potential, had a lot of fun creating like Big Jack and Calamity Carl and Mustachio and Larry, and so definitely some more kind of like potential of characters to introduce and explore the potential of, why not? We'll
Yeah,
figure it out.
absolutely. Xavier, Larry gets to go on adventures beyond his rank. He's not a knight. That's not his hunter's title. His
He's a
title is
friendly knight.
friendly knight, which outranks everybody here. Second only to the king is the prestigious title of friendly knight. right. Well, shall we wrap things up a little bit here? Anything else you want to cover, Jacob?
No, I think we're pretty good.
Yeah, got to enjoy the miraculous. This, I gotta say, hold on here. This is just turned into a half slice. This turned out pretty darn well so far. I'm gonna say, like, it's that mist was really coming together.
How long were we working on this? I feel like it was like, I don't know, like 20 minutes. Not terrible for that shorter a run. Actually, you know what? I wonder. Did it? Oh, I didn't record time lapse. Darn. It's like we could rewatch this.
Let's rewatch it on YouTube.
But it was some fine work you did, Dave. I'm very impressed.
I'll
Clearly, you've been watching a lot of Feedback Friday and picking up all my tricks.
Absolutely. Hey, it's all in this magical stylus.
Yeah, I gotta get one of those. So it's just like a bunch of electrical tape, you said, on a dry erase marker?
Yeah, and this is like normal mode, and if you're really confident, you put it into this mode right here, and then like you're playing for keeps when it comes to illustrations. And it's a great feature because it lets you see everywhere you've already drawn on the screen, so you don't like use the same pixel twice on your tablet, because that's
smart.
not good for a tablet.
Really got to commit to it,
Yeah, absolutely. All right, well, we're going to wrap things up. I think there's a couple things we got to attend to here before we probably take a little lunch break and see what else is going on. So thank you so much for joining us today. Hunters, thanks for playing along in a hopefully an entertaining ruse for a little bit there, and the feedback and sentiments about regional friend hunting. It's kind of great to see nobody threw out any immediate red flags there. So, hey, keep the conversation going on the Facebook page, Discord as well. We're just looking for gauge sentiment as we kind of make a decision on where we want to go with that for short-term, medium-term, long-term type stuff. So, keep the feedback coming. Alex says, took 15 minutes based on scrubbing the stream. All right, that was longer than I thought we would be able to keep that up for. So, all right.
You had that running commentary going for as long as I could get it.
Brian, have a great weekend. Hey, same to you as well, and everybody in the chat. Hope everybody has a fantastic week ahead. Happy hunting, and we'll see you next time. It's probably going to be you next week, eh, Jacob?
Yeah. We'll work on probably a new mouse. Why not?
All right, cool. Well, happy hunting, everybody. See you next time.
Catch you later.
1, 2.
You're a trap, don't seem to mind it. You attract me, I'm a mouse, you're a cat. I don't seem to mind it. Soft and furry, oh, and just when I think I'm safe, snap. Turns out I'm never safe, snap. Just when you think you're safe, snap. I come back. You don't seem to mind it, but I'm a fool. Broke my back. You don't seem to mind it, 'cause you're so cool. Just when I think I'm safe, snap. Turns out I'm never safe, snap. Ooh. And just when you think you're safe, snap. Turns out I'm never safe, snap.